look at how to factor quadratics. So this is a quadratic because we have a trinomial and our highest term is squared. Note this is also in standard form. Our exponents, this is 2, the exponent here is 1, and technically the exponent here is 0. So they're in descending order. So when we're factoring quadratics, the easiest thing to do is you're going to have a little workspace over here. You're going to put an X. You want to look at the leading coefficient and the constant, and you want to keep in mind the sign. So you're going to multiply 6 times 2, and I'll write that over here, 6 times 2, which gives me 12. So I'm going to put my 12 right there on the top of the X. Then I'm going to look at my center term, which is a positive 7, and I'm going to write that right here in the bottom of the X. So the X is going to help me to determine what factors of 12 I need to add up to 7. Well, I know that 3 times 4 equals 12, and 3 plus 4 equals 7. So let's just remember that this, circling this in green, because that is a part of what adds together to give me 7. So I'm going to rewrite my equation to be 6x squared plus 3x plus 4x, because 3x plus 4x is 7x, plus 2. So now I have 4 terms, and I'm going to separate these into 2 parts. Well, let's look at the first grouping. I have 6x squared plus 3x. So I'm going to factor out what they have in common, which is 3x. It's a common factor out of both terms. So what am I left with on the inside? I'm left with 2x plus 1. Then I'm going to look, what do I have in common here? Well, I can factor out a 2, and it's going to be a positive 2. So I want to make sure I write a plus 2, bring the sign with it. And what am I left with? I'm left with 2x plus 1. So take note. Do you see anything that's the same? Well, this binomial is the same as this binomial, which means I can factor that out. So I'm going to factor out that binomial, which is 2x plus 1. And then what am I left with? Well, look, these terms in red is what I'm left with. So I'm just going to put that as my other binomial. And I have factored 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. These are the factors. The binomial 2x plus 1 times the binomial 3x plus 2. And you're done.